Macron warns of renewed rift with US. Bondi to face questions on Epstein files in House testimony. Takeaways from 6 previous Trump-Netanyahu meetings. Trump told police chief everyone knew about Epstein FBI document. Cambodia says it has closed almost 200 scam centers in fraud crackdown. French President Emmanuel Macron has warned that Europe should prepare for further hostility from the United States, urging the European Union to strengthen its global position. In interviews with European newspapers including Le Monde and the Financial Times, Macron said the EU should treat recent tensions with Washington, including disputes over Greenland, trade and technology, as a wake-up call. Although US threats have recently eased, Macron cautioned that the pause should not be seen as permanent. He described the current situation as a period of instability and said Europe must push ahead with long-delayed economic reforms to boost competitiveness and strategic independence. Macron urged EU leaders to use an upcoming summit in Belgium to accelerate reforms and improve the bloc's ability to stand up to both the United States and China. He accused the administration of US President Donald Trump of taking an openly anti-European stance and warned that further disputes could arise, particularly over Europe's regulation of digital technology. Macron said Washington may challenge the EU's Digital Services Act and could impose tariffs if European regulators take action against major US tech companies. US Attorney General Pam Bondi is set to testify before the House Judiciary Committee today, where lawmakers are expected to question the Justice Department's handling of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The hearing comes amid bipartisan frustration over the department's release of more than 3 million pages of documents last month. Lawmakers have complained that significant portions of the material were heavily redacted or withheld, despite a federal law passed in November requiring the disclosure of most files. The Justice Department has defended its actions, saying redactions were necessary to protect victims' identities. However, some victims' names were inadvertently revealed in earlier releases, drawing further criticism. Epstein's case has remained politically sensitive throughout Bondi's tenure under President Donald Trump. The issue has also revived scrutiny of Trump's past association with Epstein, who died in jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Bondi is expected to defend her leadership of the Justice Department, which has undergone significant changes since Trump returned to office. Critics have questioned the department's independence, citing investigations involving Trump's political rivals. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to meet US President Donald Trump on Wednesday to discuss renewed American nuclear negotiations with Iran, amid concerns that failed diplomacy could trigger a broader regional conflict. The meeting follows a series of high-stakes discussions between the two leaders since Trump returned to the White House in January 2025. February 4, 2025, during a White House visit, Trump made a surprise proposal that the United States take control of the Gaza Strip and redevelop it economically after relocating Palestinians. The idea drew widespread international condemnation, and Trump later distanced himself from the plan. April 7, 2025. Trump unexpectedly announced that the United States and Iran would begin negotiations on Tehran's nuclear program. Netanyahu, who had sought US backing for military strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, was reportedly informed shortly before the public announcement. June 2025, a 12-day conflict erupted, with Israel striking Iranian military and nuclear sites and the United States bombing key facilities. Iran retaliated with missile and drone attacks on Israel before a US-brokered ceasefire was reached. July 7–9, 2025. In further talks, Netanyahu rejected the idea of a sovereign Palestinian state, arguing it could threaten Israel's security. Discussions also focused on hostages in Gaza and ceasefire efforts. A newly released FBI interview summary has raised fresh questions about US President Donald Trump's past statements regarding convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. According to documents made public by the Justice Department, a former police chief in Palm Beach, Florida, told the FBI in 2019 that Trump had called him in 2006 after Epstein's first sex crime charges became public. The former police chief Michael Reiter said Trump told him, "Thank goodness you're stopping him, everyone has known he's been doing this." The summary also says Trump described Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell as evil and claimed he once left a gathering after teenagers were present. The Justice Department said it was not aware of corroborating evidence that Trump contacted law enforcement at the time. The White House said the president has been transparent about ending his friendship with Epstein before his arrest and questioned whether the reported phone call occurred. Separately, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick faced intense questioning from lawmakers over his own past ties to Epstein during a Senate hearing. Justice Department files show emails suggesting Lutnick visited Epstein's private Caribbean island in 2012, years after he said he had cut off contact. Lutnick told senators he met Epstein only 3 times over 14 years, and said the island visit happened while he was nearby on a boat with his family. Cambodia says it has shut down nearly 200 scam centers in a sweeping crackdown on transnational fraud operations. Chai Sinarith, deputy chief of Cambodia's Secretariat of the Commission for Combating Online Scams, told Reuters that authorities have sealed off about 190 locations in recent weeks. He said 173 senior crime figures have been arrested and around 11,000 workers deported. The crackdown began late last year after the United States indicted and China extradited an alleged scam kingpin in one of the strongest international actions so far against the criminal networks. Authorities this week allowed rare media access to one former scam compound in Kampot province, near the Vietnam border. Reporters saw large rooms filled with computer stations, scripts instructing workers how to target Thai victims, studio booths for scam calls, and even a fake Indian police station set up to deceive targets. Police said no arrests were made at the Kampot casino complex, known as My Casino, because workers fled after the detention of an alleged boss, Tycoon Lai Kwong. Provincial police said they lacked sufficient manpower to stop thousands of workers from leaving the site. The campaign follows mounting international pressure. Thousands of scam workers, some believed to be trafficking victims held in harsh conditions, have fled compounds in recent weeks, prompting Amnesty International to describe the situation as a humanitarian crisis.